Hey guys, Noah here. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time, then hello, welcome to my channel. Today, I'm just going to be taking some plant cuttings around my home. Really no particular reason why. I just do this every now and then. And actually, I guess the reason why is I've noticed some of them are getting so long. I have these underneath my chair in my living room, and I noticed that when I sit on the chair, some of these vines hit me in the face and stuff. So I'm like, might as well just trim it. There's no real reason for them to be super long right now. The plants that I plan on taking cuttings from today, I have multiple of them, so I'm not really worried about it. And I have plenty of time for them to keep growing longer, so I definitely just want to take some cuttings for myself. I'm obsessed with plants, and if you are too, make sure you subscribe to my channel, but that just means the more plants the merrier, right? There's never too many plants. So let's take some cuttings today. I will also talk about my water propagation method, give you guys a few tips and tricks on that. But yeah, this right here that I'm standing in front of right now is my Cebu Blue Pothos. I recently repotted it, so I don't know if you guys have seen that video, but if you haven't, I bought this. Look how big this pot is. Like, I don't even know how many inches this is because it's like the biggest pot I've ever had. I should measure it one day, but it's just huge, and the plant was so root bound it needed a bigger pot. It was already in like a 10-inch pot, so this is even bigger. I probably should water it soon, but let's take a few cuttings, and later on I'll do like my plant chores that I need to like water all my plants with. So it's got this vine right here, it's got a vine right here, and it's got this super long one over here on this side that has like, actually it's two tangled up together. So it's got a bunch of vines. So I think I'm just gonna cut like one vine off or two vines off. Just looking at this one, this is the one that hits me in the face when I sit down on this chair down here. So I'm gonna take kind of a long cutting, or not too long. I'm gonna take a cutting right here because there's some beautiful nodes here that I could stick underwater. So there's my first Cebu Blue cutting, and I kind of want to take some more. So let's see here. I'm gonna take one from in here. This plant gets super tangled up. So I've got this long cutting right here, and I'm probably not gonna chop these up into a bunch of cuttings. I'm just gonna leave them long so that I can kind of create a little trailing plant already. And like, I feel like I took cuttings and you can't even tell. It's still such a full pot, so that's why I'm not worried about taking cuttings from this one. Like, I can untangle these and it'll still look like, look, there's still trails on this side. You see what I mean? So like, it's like I didn't even take anything. And I'll probably just take one more from this side. All right, so we've got three long-ish Cebu Blue cuttings. I'll leave that one alone for now. I have a Hoya Australis back here, but I already did take a bunch of cuttings from it. So I'm going to pan you guys over here. The lighting may suck because it's right in front of my window, but what can you do? See, the lighting is so horrible. That kind of works. So I have a Crimson Princess, I believe this one is, and she's looking really good. She does have one long vine right here that hangs down. I don't want to cut that one off because that's kind of like the only vine, so I'm just gonna, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna cut this one. I actually have some of this plant rooting in water already, so I don't necessarily need a lot more. I'm gonna leave this one be for now. I also have this Hoya Obavada, but I'm not gonna take cuttings from it because I did recently and the cuttings did not succeed, and I just forgot to change out the water that it was in, so that was my fault. But I'm gonna wait until it gets a little bit bigger. I'm so sorry about the lighting, you guys. So I have my Monstera Adansonii. This one hits me in the face when I'm sitting as well. It's got all these long, this one's super long vines, so it's just going crazy. The one really long vine is this one, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna cut this off because it's got a ton of other vines. And I'll probably like make multiple cuts in this one. Cut this off. Ah! I love this vine. But it does hit me in the face every time I sit down, so no good. All right, got that. We have a Scindapsus pictus up here, but I'm not gonna cut that because it's still pretty short. I have a Jade Pothos behind you, but I don't think I'm gonna cut that either. But I do have a Scindapsus pictus in the other room I'll bring you guys to cut that, and a neon philodendron, so let me go over there to get those. All right, so I have this neon philodendron right here that I do want to propagate because I only have one of this plant, and it's very sad because look how beautiful it is. So think I'm just gonna take one cutting since the vine's getting kind of long. I kind of want to take a long-ish cutting. So about here. And it still looks pretty full. So got this beautiful cutting right here. We'll add that to the mix. All right, so I have not been hesitant to cut any plant, except I will be for this one. This is like a cool thumbnail. Because this one's just so long and beautiful, and I don't have any plant this long and beautiful. Let me show you guys how long it is. So as you can see, it pretty much touches the floor. So I don't think I'm gonna cut those vines that are almost touching the floor because I want it to touch the floor first. But it does have these other long vines that I'm gonna take small cuttings from. So let's see here. We have 3 or 4 vines here, and these are all short-ish. So I'm just gonna take like a few leaves off of these. So like right here. Got one beautiful cutting. And I'm gonna take a few of these. Take this one. It's good, you can't really tell, right? That I took cuttings from it. And then maybe one on this side. I'll do this one. All right, so 3 cuttings. I think that should be enough. So let's go over to my little desk area and put all of these in water. All right, so I'm here with my cuttings and I'm going to propagate them. I am actually running out of water vessels to propagate my stuff in, so I'm using this Minute Maid container, and that just goes to show you that you can really use anything around your home. I never throw away stuff like this. I mean, I recycle obviously, but if I have something like this that's like the perfect propagation thing, I always keep them. I even use hand soap containers. I've used yogurt containers. That's just something I like to do. But since I am running low on vessels, I have a ton of stuff propagating right now. I will be putting some stuff into sphagnum moss. So I've got 2 little containers here filled with sphagnum that we will propagate with. So I'll basically be sharing with you guys 2 methods to propagate with. When I post on my Instagram and stuff, a lot of people ask me about water propagation and why I don't use sphagnum or soil, or why most people use water propagation. I kind of have a few answers for that. So water propagation is definitely going to be like the easiest method because it's almost guaranteed to always work. Every now and then a plant will rot in the water, but for the most part, it always is successful. The only hard part is once it does have successful roots on the plant, whatever plant it is you're propagating, and you do try to transfer it to soil after that, that's where an issue tends to happen. Sometimes it will die during that transfer, and that is because the roots that were created in the water are water roots. They're not used to soil. They don't know how to acclimate to it yet, and they really have to get used to it. They've been so used to being soaking wet for so long. So that's why a lot of people do choose other methods and not necessarily water propagation. Like a lot of YouTubers, like planty YouTubers, they'll use sphagnum moss because that way the roots that are forming are not water roots. So they will be successful if transferred to soil, to leca, to whatever medium it is you want to use, perlite, peat moss, whatever, it'll most likely be successful. So that's one of the reasons. People always ask me like, why do plant YouTubers never water propagate? They're always using sphagnum and containers and all that. So that's kind of why they do that. But for me, I really have not had any failures when it comes to transferring water roots into soil. As long as you really saturate the soil well once you transfer it and make sure it doesn't dry out, then you'll be fine. That's just a little answer for that. But let's see. So I do think I'm going to stick my neon philodendron cutting into sphagnum just because it's the smallest cutting that I have here, or the shortest. So all you want to do is make sure that the nodes, which are, this one has a ton of great aerial root nodes right there, you just want to make sure that's submerged. Also, people love to use sphagnum because you don't really have to cut the leaf off. It'll still propagate really well without cutting leaves off. So you basically just stick it on top and then put some sphagnum on top and make sure that the nodes are underneath the sphagnum. So super, super simple, and I think also that's why people love it. So I'm just gonna make sure that is submerged. and I could probably fit another plant into here, so let me see. Oh, we did say we were gonna chop up the Adansonii, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm just gonna show you guys again just like a better angle of what I did here. Basically, you're gonna wanna submerge these little points where there's little brown stuff sticking out. Those are the nodes. So I'll just take a bunch of sphagnum out, put this underneath, and bury the nodes. So very simple, you don't have to cut any leaves off. I'll also do the Monstera Adansonii. I'll throw that in there. All right, so we have the Adansonii and it's got a ton of leaves on it, and I'm just going to separate them. So you could see the node right here. That's gonna be what we wanna separate. So on each leaf, there is a node. And then I'm just gonna make sure that all those nodes are submerged into the sphagnum. So I'll probably just place them all around the pot first, and then I'll add sphagnum on top. Now that they're all on there, I'm just gonna add some more sphagnum on top just to make sure every node is submerged. And that is it. So that's that. I also have this water jar that I'll stick some of the cuttings to. So since I need to stick this in, this leaf, as you can tell, is in the way. So I will cut all of the bottom leaves off just so that it'll stay in the container that it's going in. And the node is submerged, and I will do that with everything. Hopefully they all fit in this container. So again, I'm gonna cut the bottom leaf off. So that's cool with the sphagnum that you don't have to do that, you know? This one I'm probably gonna have to cut 2 leaves off just to really get it under there. There we go. Let's see what else we got here. We got a funky cutting. Such a shame to waste beautiful leaves. Always pains me. All right, so that's pretty much it. We have our 2 propagations, one in sphagnum moss and one in water, and I will post all my updates on my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely make sure to follow at Rozay to see updates on these propagations. If you guys do want to see a video on these updated propagations, definitely make sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I will definitely do it for you guys. So with that all being said, thank you guys again so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next Thursday and Sunday for a brand new video. Bye!